It's a routine day for Ron White, preparing to work on a piece of furniture like any other woodworker. But there is a difference. Ron White creates beautiful, handmade furniture without the benefit of sight. He's completely blind in both eyes. It happened in Vietnam in January 1967, as Chief Warrant Officer Ron White was piloting a helicopter.
But I was on regular rocket mission, supporting the Special Forces people that were in our area of responsibility, and I took a bullet in the left eye.
Within 2 minutes, the hemorrhaging from the bullet wound caused total blindness in the other eye. Life as he had known it was over.
It's rough, especially when it happens that suddenly. You weren't ready for it. But I guess it'd be the same way if I lost both legs. I wouldn't be ready for it.
At the Blind Training Center in Chicago, he learned how to read Braille, walk with a cane, and tackle something even more demanding.
Part of the training was to put a blind person in a woodworking shop, because everyone knows what saws are and what saws do, what screwdrivers do, but most people don't want to try it because they're considered too dangerous.
It was something he really enjoyed. And later, back in Fayetteville, Ron searched for an instructor who could teach him more. Not an easy task.
Biggest obstacles was people that said I couldn't do it. The VA, on the other hand, said, yes, we'll find a way for it to work. And they did.
After a long search, they found an instructor at Fayetteville Technical Institute by the name of Dwayne Fields. But even Fields was skeptical. It was then that Ron White issued Fields a challenge.
He came over here all charged up saying how it couldn't be done, and I already had a radial arm saw sitting here. It wasn't this particular model, but it was another one. And I told him, I showed him if I could cut a piece of wood to a specific dimension without cutting my hand off, would you at least give me a chance? So he allowed us how he would, and I cut a piece of wood to whatever dimension he wanted. And he said, well, okay, I'll give you 2 weeks, but if I see that we're going nowhere, I'll cut it off. And 18 months later, he said that he learned more than I did. But that's not true, because he taught me everything I know about woodworking, everything. He was a great teacher.
The first piece of furniture he made was an 18th century Italian provincial hall cabinet.
It wasn't particularly difficult, but it was my first piece, and it had to be right. And I couldn't make mistakes. So I had to be real careful with it.
His wife Marilyn ordered a book of plans of early American furniture, and nearly every piece Ron made from that point on came from the book. When he would finish one, Marilyn would request another piece she had seen in the book, each one a little more difficult than the last.
Usually speaking, she has a real strict idea of what it is that she does want, and that's how she wants it. And that's how I got to make it.
Jerry Dean is an experienced home furniture maker who has seen Ron White's furniture.
When I heard he was a sightless woodworker, I was a little bit in disbelief. And then I had these opinions about maybe the kind of furniture or woodworking he did. And when I had a chance to meet him and look at pieces and talk to him about construction techniques, the styles of furniture that he liked, I was truly amazed.
He was further impressed when Ron showed him a desk he had built.
And I had built a similar desk, and so I immediately knew the things that were a challenge to me. And I focused on those things, and they were pretty near perfect for anybody.
Building quality pieces of furniture was something Ron pushed himself to do from the very beginning.
If you're going to make anything, even if it's only a little wooden stool, you can do it nicely, or you can just throw it together and with a bunch of nails, and it'll fall apart. It's not pleasing to the eye. If it's pleasing to the eye, it's pleasing to my fingers.
Ron works in his shop every day, building furniture for Marilyn or friends who have commissioned a particular piece of furniture. And he's quite content working alone.
And here, I'm the boss. and I control everything in here. I'm in charge. And if it gets done, I do it. And that right there in itself is enough to give you some satisfaction.
Ron credits his military training with helping overcome his blindness.
The one thing they taught me was accomplish the mission. And when you set yourself to do something, then don't quit till it's done. And you don't party till it's done, you see. And you don't give up till it's done. So you don't give up. It's that simple.
And for those who experience a life-changing tragedy, as he did, Ron White has this advice.
Losing your sight, it's pretty traumatic. It really is. You have to go through a whole change of life thing there, but it is not the end of life by any means. In fact, in some ways, I think I've enjoyed life more since I lost my sight than before. And that might not be easy to understand, but I get a lot more pleasure out of feeling the sun on my face and feeling the breeze on my skin than I used to. I get a lot more fun out of just waking up in the morning.